any good hospice is going to provide you a CNA.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
typically you would have, it's your choice though. So
Huh.
maybe you say, I really only want you to come and bathe mom once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe we'll
Yeah.
start with that until mom gets used to us, and maybe you want more,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. Those visits change all the
Mm-hmm.
time. Or maybe they say, I need a lot of help. I'm really burnout, and this caregiving is the hardest job I'm ever going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I would like you here as often as possible.
What's up, Camden County? You are catching episode 63 of the Getting in Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Alison Shores with the Camden County Chamber of Commerce. This Getting in Your Business podcast is made possible by our Chairman Circle sponsors, Georgia's Own Credit Union, Lockheed, Comcast, Georgia Power Company, Sparklight, Plug Power, St. Mary's DDA, TDS Telecom, and Ameris Bank. Thank you to all of our sponsors. All right, guys, today in the studio, I have some very lovely people, and I'm so excited, even though we're talking about quite the topic today, but we are with Coastal Hospice, and I have Heather and Caralee, and I'm so excited you guys are here. Before we dive into all things Coastal Hospice, I kind of want you both to tell me who you are, what you do with Coastal Hospice.
My name is Heather Newlin, and I am the Area Director of Operations for Georgia.
Okay. What about you, Caralee?
I am in partnership and development, so I am more community-based outreach.
Awesome. I feel like whenever we say the words hospice, it's so, people think sad. People think I don't want to talk about that. They think, it goes down, I don't want to say negative, but that is kind of where it goes. And I really kind of want to change the conversation about that a little bit, because I feel like people don't know a whole lot about hospice. They don't have the right, the correct information. And the only time you really experience hospice, it's not the greatest time of your life. But what I want people to know is that it matters. Your hospice experience matters, because it can make or break the last days or last months or whatever of somebody's life. So I really want to talk about just kind of breaking that stigma of hospice, and let's really talk about what it is. So I kind of want to start with, all right, what is hospice? Let's start there. What is hospice for anybody that doesn't know? Let's go there first.
Okay. Excuse me. Hospice is a Medicare benefit that is eligible to anyone who has the Medicare benefit and or commercial insurance. It's covered by most insurances as well, but typically it's your Medicare patients. And it is for anybody who has a terminal diagnosis, something that has given them a life-limiting illness. Usually when a doctor has said you have approximately 6 months or less to live. Now, with that being said, that does not mean that you're going to die in 6 months. It could be a couple weeks, it could be in a couple of years. But if your disease trajectory goes the route that the doctors think you are, you could potentially be gone in 6 months.
Okay, so you have to have that diagnosis, and then at that point, a nurse comes in.
Yes.
And so let's start from there.
So once the doctor has determined that something is going on, they will call us and they will give us a referral. And that referral says, I would like you to evaluate. Okay. That doctor is not saying admit to hospice. Okay. That has to be done by the hospice medical director.
Okay.
So once we get that referral, typically Caralee will go out first, and she will just give a brief education. This is the things that we do. This is what we can offer you. Does this sound like something you might be interested in? Then we'll send a nurse, and a nurse will go out and she will evaluate everything that's going on with the patient, from clinically speaking, medically, psychosocial, emotional, spiritual. They're doing a full comprehensive assessment.
Okay.
She then brings that information back to the medical director. That medical director then determines yes or no, this person is eligible for hospice. At that time, we're going to say yes. And she will continue her assessment and everything that she does. And she will go over everything. She will sit down at the table with you. She will talk about medications. She'll talk about the services that we do provide. Medicare, the only rule that Medicare has is that a nurse, an RN, has to see you at least every 14 days. So beyond that,
Mm-hmm.
most hospices should be doing at least 1 to 2 visits a week from the nurse.
Okay.
It's just good hospice care.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll determine the frequency of the nurse. Then they'll talk about CNA, a certified nurse's aide. Do you want a CNA? Is there things you're having trouble with? Maybe it's getting mom into the shower. Maybe it's, she's having accidents or, just different things. So that CNA will also come. Now, that is something that Medicare does not say hospices have to provide. Any good hospice is going to provide you a CNA.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
typically you would have, it's your choice though. So
Huh.
maybe you say, I really only want you to come and bathe mom once a week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe we'll
Yeah.
start with that until mom gets used to us and maybe you want more
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. Those visits change all the
Mm-hmm.
time. Or maybe they say, I need a lot of help. I'm really burnout and this caregiving is the hardest job I'm ever going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I would like you here as often as possible. So we may go to 5 days a week, and
Yeah.
that's okay too. Then she'll go through the chaplain and the social worker. The chaplain is a service as well to provide any kind of spiritual or even just companionship.
Okay.
Um, and then,
Now, is that something on staff with you guys?
yes, ma'am.
Stop it.
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. So our disciplines, let me rewind a
I
little
did not.
bit.
I did not know
Yeah.
that.
It's a full team. It's
Like seriously.
You have
Mhm.
a full team on hospice. So you have a medical director,
Mm-hmm.
you have the RNs.
Mm-hmm.
Some hospices you have the LPN. So that's a
Okay.
licensed practical
Mhm.
nurse. Excuse me. And she helps to do a lot of those follow up visits after the RN has done her comprehensives. It's just a great addition to the staff. Then you have your CNAs, who are the certified
Mhm.
nurses assistants, and they do things like baths and
Mhm.
I've even told our CNAs, take out a deck of cards. Why
Yeah.
not? Get some
Yeah.
fingernail polish. Absolutely. What
Yeah.
that companionship.
Mhm.
Then you have the chaplain.
Mhm.
They are non-denominational, so if you're Catholic, that's okay. If you are Buddhist, that's okay.
Mhm.
They're really there for whatever spiritual need that you have.
I love that.
Then you have the social worker.
Mhm.
So our social worker is great for the different psychosocial dynamics in
Mhm.
families. We all have them.
Mhm.
She's also great for if you're taking care of mom and
Mhm.
you need to take off of work, you need FMLA paperwork, but you don't know how to do that. You're
Mhm.
confused by the whole
Yeah.
situation and you're already tired from taking care of
Yep.
mom. She's going to help you with that whole process. And she does everything from helping you to apply for Medicaid or um like I said, helping with FMLA, working on your will, any advanced
Mhm.
directives, they do that as well. That is our core out in the field team. And then you have also, like the director. So Teresa's our director at Coastal in Brunswick.
Mhm.
You have me, that's the area director for
Mhm.
Georgia. So a lot of ancillary people as well. But your core team, that is a Medicare required benefit. You must have all these disciplines at your service.
I just did not realize that,
Yeah.
and that's remarkable. I know that when we had to use hospice for my great grandmother and my grandmother, and I know that the nurses that came in with them, they were there for a few months with us, definitely with my great grandmother, and they became family. We knew their
hmm
name,
hmm
we knew their favorite dessert. We'd bring it. They would make they made sure we were there at certain, when it got
hmm
really to the end, and it was it, it makes a difference, and I want people to understand it matters who you have at the end,
hmm
and your nurse your nurse can make or break that, and so
Absolutely.
I'll say when Caralee and I got to sit down and talk about hospice, I was like, wait, like I got so interested in it
hmm
because she's so passionate about
hmm
it, and I just think that that's just amazing. What would you say that sets you guys apart at Coastal Hospice from any other hospice? Not knocking any other hospice or anything
Right.
like that, but just what would you say is the set apart?
So I think our biggest thing is we are in the community. So
You are.
our nurses are local. We are taking care of neighbors, church members,
Mm-hmm.
just anybody that you know in the community. We are the ones that are helping that really hard time.
Mhm.
And I think being a part of the community and being able to be there, during this time is the main thing.
Yeah. I mean, and these are
Mm,
probably people you know, and I just think that that's
mhm,
just it's
mhm,
amazing, all of that. Now, if all of your staff is like this, because Imma tell you,
mhm,
she came in so sweet. I mean, we connected like that, and I was like, "Wow,"
mhm.
and if everybody on your staff leaves quite the impression that she did, I just can't imagine. Now has everybody been with you guys for a long time, your staff?
Yes, absolutely. We did a lot of restructuring a while back
Mhm.
and kind of handpicked everybody
Yeah.
to the best of my ability, and it's just soared. They're so passionate. They're so ready for growth.
Mhm.
It's exciting, and they're nurses, they're CNAs.
Yeah.
They don't look at operations and
Yeah.
numbers, and they shouldn't, right?
Yeah.
They look at it and they say, I want to help
Mhm.
everyone in Georgia. I want
Yeah.
everybody to know about
Mhm.
hospice and what we can do. And they're so passionate about follow through,
Mhm.
and that's why it's so important to get these referrals early. They need that chance for them too. A lot of people ask, How do you do hospice?"
Yeah.
Ooh, I could never do hospice. That's a big
Yeah,
one, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yes.
and every single one of us are like, we couldn't do what you do.
Yeah.
We love it. They want to have that follow through. They wanna be able to have a relationship with the families and the patients and see the whole process all the way through.
Mhm.
And that's extremely hard to do with late referrals, with the stigma of having only a few days to live
Mhm.
or waiting until you really only do have a few days to live. They wanna be able to really support you and not just at those final moments.
Yeah.
So I think that having the staff that are completely in this for the right reasons, the sad thing to say is we're all going to die,
We
right?
are.
And unfortunately, death is such a naughty word and it's a scary word,
Mhm.
and it shouldn't be. It should be as calm and peaceful and supported as possible. So, when the staff do get upset or sad, because we do,
Yeah,
we
y'all are
do,
human,
it
yeah.
happens, of course.
Yeah.
I remind them that this person was going to pass.
Mhm.
You got to be there with them at the hardest
Yeah.
time in their life,
Mhm.
and you made it possible for them to be comfortable and at peace. And um, without that, they
Mhm.
wouldn't have. It,
Yeah.
it would not have been a peaceful passing. There could have been pain. There could have been breathing issues. All these different things could
Mhm.
have been happening that you supported them through. So I feel very lucky that we have such a great group of nurses and aides and ancillary staff in Coastal.
I think it
Absolutely.
speaks volumes that they actually want to have relationships, even though they know, how it's gonna turn out. They want to build relationships, and they want to make people comfortable, and I just think that's
But the part about that is it doesn't just end after that person passed,
the
right?
family.
That's your bereavement at the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
Another thing Medicare says is hospice has to follow you for at least 13 months. So even after that person passes, that's the first thing that we remind people. We're still here. I know this is terribly sad and I can't take any of that away. We are here. Here's our number. Please call us. We're going to check in on you, and we're going to do it after 2 weeks, after 5 weeks, after 5 months, and after a year. And even beyond that, I can tell you that there are plenty of people, even me,
Yeah.
years later that I reach out to.
I love that.
You don't forget people.
Yeah.
And that patient really is the whole family unit. It's
Yeah.
not just the patient who's sick.
Yeah, I
So
think I think that's a big thing when you
Mhm.
bring up hospice. You are obviously thinking about it in the aspect of for the patient,
Yeah.
but that's not the case. There's this whole big team that we've discussed,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, you have somebody looking after the patient who is
Mhm.
probably burnt out or
Mhm.
tired or
Tired. Yeah.
doesn't have the resources, does not know what to
Mhm.
do. I think, a stigma around hospice, I think there's just a stigma around aging in general. You
Oh,
don't
yes.
really talk about it.
Mhm.
You don't want to admit sometimes that maybe something's wrong or
Mhm.
you need help.
Mhm.
Um, so we are able to be there for those people too. We're there for the whole family. It's not
Mhm.
just the patient, it's the overall well-being
Mhm.
of someone, it's the overall
And I just
well-being of their
think
family.
that is
Mhm.
remarkable. I've never looked at it as that
Mhm.
all encompassing. You know what I'm saying? I think for me, it's like, oh, they come in when somebody's dying and that's it.
Mhm.
And I think that makes it feel like, ugh, I
Mhm,
can't, I don't want to talk to you, but that's not the case. Like, just
Mhm.
talking to you, I was like, man,
There's also another thing that I wanted to bring up that kind of tends to be one of the myths. The
hmm
myth is hospice comes in and they stop all your meds. They take everything away and you can't do X, Y, and Z, right?
yep,
So yes, Medicare says you can't do things like dialysis and
hmm
chemo, but first, we do not come in and take all your medications.
yeah,
We don't feed you a bottle of morphine. In fact, a lot of people don't take any of the comfort meds. They don't
wow,
need them.
yeah,
Um, but we really sit down at that first admission
hmm
and we go through all those medications
hmm
and we say, what do you want to take? What do you not
yeah,
want to take? And then we're going to suggest you keep taking this one or you stop
hmm
taking this one because there's a lot of benefits to deprescribing, to not taking so many
yeah,
pills all the time. Um, so a lot of people think that once you've signed on for hospice, you're giving up all your control.
mhm,
no,
I want to like completely erase that
yeah,
and say, no, you're getting back your control
yep,
because you truly are the boss. If you go into a hospital because you've had pneumonia,
hmm
whatever it might be,
hmm
you're going to get woke up at 2 and 4 and 6 a.m. They're
hmm
going to do labs at 3 a.m.
hmm
They're going to tell you you
yeah,
have to do this
you're not
scan.
sleeping.
You're going to have to take this
hmm
medication. We're the complete opposite. If you don't want to get up at 2 a.m. and take that medicine, you don't have to.
Yeah,
If you want to have a shot of whiskey, go for it. Absolutely. Whatever it is, it's your goals are now
hmm
our goals. So that's part of what happens at that admission. What do you want?
yeah,
How do you want to take back control of
hmm
your life and your quality?
hmm
Because that's really what it is how can we give you control of your quality of life until you can't anymore?
yeah,
So it's really breaking that stigma of I'm going to feed you morphine, I'm going to take away all your pills, and you can't do anything. No,
yeah.
complete opposite. I promise.
Yeah, wow. This is just I thank you guys. Now I do want to ask a question about your territory
Mhm,
because I know it extends
mhm,
further than just Camden.
mhm.
I do love that Caralee is in Camden and
Yes,
with us. But,
yes.
but yes, yeah, talk to me about your territory.
So Coastal Hospice
Mhm.
covers Glenn County,
Mhm.
McIntosh, Brantley,
Mhm.
Wayne, Long, Camden.
Ooh,
Now that is coastal Brunswick.
gotcha.
Because I'm all of Georgia, I'll just tell you, we also service in Hazelhurst and their surrounding counties as
Okay.
well. We have another coastal branch there. And we also have a branch called Remarkable Hospice
Okay.
that is the Dublin area.
The one's not on the coast. Yeah.
Correct. The one's not on the coast. So Caralee does a lot of community outreach in the
mhm.
Camden and Brantley and even Jacksonville area.
Mhm.
And then we have other partnership and development people in the other areas as well. But we service quite a lot of the Southeast Georgia.
Wow. That's remarkable. Carolee, I know we're looking forward to having you, at our networking things you and I talked about, and just we're so excited you're here. And I know you're born and raised from Camden, so we are glad you
Yeah.
came back and are working here. Um, but is there anything else you want to cover? I feel like we've talked a lot about hospice, and I know, but it's not that bad, guys. Like
No,
it's
no.
really it's not. And you want it to be the best experience as it can be.
hmm
And I think choosing who you have coming in, you want somebody that's caring, loving, and is passionate about their job. And it takes, we were talking about, how can nurses and stuff love their job and want to do this, and even you guys. And so but I think it takes us all. God makes us all different so that we
Mhm.
can, like y'all have the
Absolutely.
capacity to do that.
Mm.
I could never do that, wow.
Mhm.
It's just, I'm so thankful for you guys, because I know a lot of families have benefited from your services and just from people like
Mhm.
you that care, and during that specific time of life. I just think it's so important, and I think people need to think about it and really start looking at it, even though it's not something sexy to look at and it's not something we want to do. Unfortunately, sometimes it's inevitable and it's going to happen, and we have to face that, and getting the best care and the best just the best people for what you're about to endure. You want those kind of people surrounding you.
Mhm.
So I'm just so thankful y'all are here, that you're part of our chamber. And yeah, was there anything else you guys wanted to say?
I have
Go ahead.
one little thing I
Yes,
would love to say.
yes.
Um, I know I mentioned earlier how, it feels like so much is going on if you're
Yeah.
with hospice or just the word hospice. It's like, why would you say that? Be
Yes. Yeah.
quiet.
Yeah.
Ew. But I want to be able to be in this community. I am from here.
Mhm.
I am passionate about hospice, but I'm also just passionate about our elderly community in general.
Yes.
So if there is any way that I can be a resource to anybody, oftentimes when you bring up hospice, you don't want to say it. And then once you've said it, it's like, I can't go back from this.
Yes.
That's not the case. If you just want to, have a discussion, if you just have some questions that you want answered, I'm not going to, nobody's going to pressure you into hospice.
Right.
If you have questions about placement, we have that team, that amazing team
Mhm.
who is full of resources. And if you have nobody to reach out to, you don't know what to do, reach
Mhm.
out to me. I'm more than happy to have a conversation. If I don't know the answer, which I may not, but if
Girl, I
I
say
don't
that all
know
the
it,
time.
I have the resources to find what you need.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
anything I can do.
Yeah. Awesome. Was there anything you had, Heather, that you wanted to
Yeah, I just kind of want to piggyback on that a little bit. If you're sitting here and you're going, I know somebody at church, maybe this is
Yeah.
a good idea. It doesn't hurt to reach out to your doctor's office, reach out to Caralee, reach out to our office, reach out to any of us
Mhm.
and, have an evaluation done just to see. You're not signing a stone tablet.
Yeah.
You're just getting that information. Also, a good thing, to let the doctor's offices know, any of the
Mhm.
doctors that are listening, if you're ever curious
Mhm.
and you feel like you want to know some information, or maybe you have a patient in your office right
Mhm.
now, call us. We have ran over to doctor's offices many times to give
Yeah.
education, because it is a hard topic that they don't tend to like to have.
And I was gonna ask too, do you have education? Like if people, like, let's say, a church Sunday school class, or, just anybody wanted to have just an education kind of class, somebody maybe come in and talk about this. Is this something you guys offer?
That is something that I would love to do. That is
I love
something
it.
that I
Mhm.
kind of plan my days around in this field. So
Awesome.
anything.
Now how do they get a hold of you, Caralee?
So you can reach me by my email.
Mhm.
It's Caralee at coastalhospice.com. And then once you email me, it's my personal number. So
Yeah, we're not gonna give that out, guys. But it's Caralee. It's Caralee,
yes,
correct? Look at me. Look at me. Okay. Yes, and if you have any trouble getting a hold of her whatsoever, you can contact us here at the chamber, and we will get you in direct contact with her. But this has been awesome, guys. I really appreciate it. You've been wonderful. Like I said, just getting to meet with you for I don't even know how long we were together, but
I know I stole her. I stole
Yeah.
her and talked her ears off is what I did.
But you made me so on fire, and just like, I love people that are passionate about what they do, because it spills over, and I just think it's amazing. So thank you guys. Thank you for taking the time out today just to talk about this. Caralee, we're looking forward to working with you here in our community. So guys, if you have any questions, make sure you reach out to Coastal Hospice, to Caralee Bennett. Yeah, all things hospice. They've got the answers. So thank you guys for listening. You've caught episode 63 of the Getting in Your Business podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe.